The first thing for a successful wedding is to have a happy couple.
Hi guys, welcome to the Weddings Exposed podcast, the first podcast for the brides and for the wedding industry professionals.
We are Alexa Geibel and Kirill Brusilovsky, fine art wedding photographers from North Germany.
In our podcast, we are going to give many tips for the brides how to organize your dream wedding.
Our idea is to bring wedding industry professionals and wedding clients closer together and make them understand each other better.
We want to share experiences and learn from each other.
And now, let's rock and roll. Hi guys, and welcome to the next episode of Weddings Exposed. Today, we have a special person, a guy who definitely leaves an impression. He's a DJ from Hamburg. His name is Leonard Koerner. Welcome and hello.
Welcome. We're super excited. Hi.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm curious about this interview, and thank you very much for saying such good words about my services. It's all about passion, but I should give that back to Kirill. Actually, I met him several times, several events, and this is where our connection started actually, and it's still on.
So let's just go one step back. Could you tell us a little bit more about your background? So from what I know, you are a DJ, but you also have your own agency. Give us just some information.
Well, yes. Actually, I started architecture, and while I was starting with my studies, I was doing my first wedding as a DJ. And that actually was a disaster. So that was 1996. And actually, how I became a DJ for weddings, I don't think that this is just an ordinary job. So you just become a DJ for weddings because of passion, of having passion for the couples. And you also, this is what is a little bit different from other DJs. If you're an event DJ and not a show DJ, actually, you need to have passion for serving other people's wishes. So it's not about my personal music flavor. It's all about like empathy, about the other people, about your customers. I think this is quite equal actually with photographers. You always have to find a way to fulfill the wishes of your customers. I had a passion for music since I was a little boy. I played the drums for over 10 years, and I would start collecting CDs. Actually, the vinyl stuff were later on, actually. And I was collecting music. I was going out. I love being in clubs and dancing and listen to the sound of the music and all that stuff. That was really very nice for me. I really loved that. So, and then once, I discovered that some friends of mine, they are DJs actually, and they were asking me like, are you interested to learn it, or you want to join us? I said like, well, yes, if you let me learn and if you're going to teach me, well, let's have a try. So, and actually I had a foundation of hundreds of CDs, so I had the music, and in the mid 90s there were this phase where the pitchable CD player were released. So that was the first CD player which was able to get pitched, so that you lower or speed up the speed of a sound. So that was the first possibility to do mixes actually. And this is where I bought my first pitchable CD player, and that was the start actually. And while I was studying architecture and was traveling through the world and doing all my things, I never gave up with this passion, being a DJ. And after a few stations, international stations, I came back to Germany, and then we're based in Hamburg. And actually, I started to start an agency for advertisement instead of being an architect. I was bored. I just want to be creative, and so I started this ad agency. And but all this time I was always DJing in clubs, and since I was based in Hamburg, some other event agencies who were doing really big events, they were discovering me, and then they start booking me for press balls and meetings, big events with thousands of people, big company events. And this is where I started my career as a DJ, as an event DJ. And yes, beside that, there were so many recommendations of people who were working for all the events or being guests at the events. And this is where I started to be also a wedding DJ, actually.
Is it different working or being a DJ on a wedding than on any other event?
Yeah, I would say so. It's much more emotional. You are much closer to the couple. Of course, I'm trying to meet all of our customers, which we're DJing for. I always say we, because we're an agency, a DJ agency in the meantime. So we have about 20 DJs running for us. We have our own technique. We have our own technicians who are building up the stuff and do the build down. But I can tell some later on. But in the end, of course, I do meet the couples here at my agency, all of them. And as we do it right now, we are trying to get to know each other. We're talking about their wishes, their passion. And I try to discover what is their special individual need. It's not only about the music. So sometimes it seems to me that some couples are quite similar. But in the end, if you just check out all the details, it is totally different. So it is every event, every wedding is very individual, and I really love that. So it's all about that. That it's always hard work for finding the right way to treat and to serve a couple, and I really appreciate that very much. So the more difficult it gets, the better for me, actually.
Was it difficult for you to put your ego aside? Because you said like you started just DJing, and I guess if you are a wedding DJ, you cannot really play what you want. So like, you know, as you say, you have to fulfill the wishes of the couple. Because I know, for example, my husband, he's a DJ. And of course, like as a DJ, you have this kind of pride, you know, you would like to play your own music to the people. Yes. Was it difficult for you? Or you just say, no, I love it because I would like to serve to the people? Well,
yeah, I can understand. That is a good question, actually. So therefore, I think there are two kinds of DJs. There are these one event DJs, and there are this club DJ. And I am more into the event DJ because I am more into fulfilling wishes for my audience. They are not booking me because I do really good sets. Besides, I really do it, so hopefully. But in the end, I feel more passion to fulfill wishes and to work together with the audience in a dynamic process. So it's always I'm always curious about every gig I do, every wedding I do, what is expecting me. So it's always different, and I really love that. But if you're a club DJ, for me, it's not my kind of passion, because you are playing just what you like or what the club is telling you what to play. It's not better or worse, but it is different. So there are just two ways, and I really respect the club DJ, but really I would get bored out if I should play 6 hours of house music, for example. I'm more into this, I always call that a sinus curve. So I love this changing of the tempo, up tempo, down tempo, older songs, newer songs. This is what is DJing all about. What I'm trying to do on every event is to telling a little story about music, or a little bit, you know, like going through the phases of music and different styles, different techniques, and all that stuff. This is what I really like about DJing.
You know, I was really wondering how you could persuade couples to do certain things. You know, my impression was on many weddings, I've heard the same music all over and all over. So I thought the DJs were just perhaps too lazy to find something original. It was all sounding like best hits on the radio, and like they all have every single one of them has just bought a CD somewhere with the label Wedding Best Hits, and they just put it there and take their money. That was my impression. And and I have actually approached several people, several DJs who are nice guys usually, and I've just asked them, why are you playing the same shit every wedding. And they have tried to explain to me, like saying, well, it is not my taste, but every couple wants to hear this hit or that hit. And frankly, I didn't buy it, actually. I also thought that every couple is different. How do you manage to make a really individual concept from one hand and to combine it with the tastes of every couple? I don't believe that every couple has such similar taste as the music I hear on almost every wedding.
Well, it is all a question of preparation. So you have to prepare yourself. What we are doing with our couples is always asking them for 10 of their favorite songs. So I'm asking them to hand over 2 lists of each 10 favorite songs. And I'm asking the couples not to write down songs which they think people are dancing to. That is a real interesting thing. I'm always telling them, even if I think this would never work on a wedding, actually, but I'm always telling them to write down their favorite music. What I love to find out is what is moving this couple. What do they love? Is that rock? Is that house? Is that charts? Whatever. I really try to find out which is their certain individual music taste. And after I have this list, I'm able, of course, to prepare these songs, to have it along with me when I'm doing the wedding. But which is more important, I can read between the lines. And this is more important. Even if they, like, I'm gonna do you maybe one example. Sometimes we have really totally weird wishes, like heavy metal or speed metal or whatever. People are so different. Even if we're mostly doing VIP events and very sophisticated and nice events, but even these couples, they have really strange music flavors, which is really important and nice to me, because as I told before, the more difficult it gets, the more interesting it is for me. So if I get one of these lists where there's music on it, if you would play that kind of music, the wedding would really be ended at 11 o'clock. That is for sure. So if I play this certain kind of wishes, but as I told you before, I can read between the lines. So I do know what the couple is all about and what they love and what not. And as soon as you have wishes from the couple, you can be sure that lots of the audience, lots of the guests are having a kind of same music flavor, because mostly all the guests, they are friends with the couple for a long period, maybe sometimes from the school phase, or maybe studying together, and so they know each other quite well, and which is very important for a DJ to play these kind of music where there was a emotional binding between emotions, yes, and the music, and it's always this phase where you end the school and you start entering your job, and this is what this kind of phase you have to find out and then present the guests, actually.
But what would you do in the situation? For example, I'm a little bit different person. I like, as you say, heavy metal. So it's
Yes.
not a really normal taste, ordinary taste. I like rock. I like hardcore. I like Enigma. I like Michael Jackson. So my music taste is very different from my guests, I would say.
Yeah.
What would you do in this kind of situation? If you know, like, the guests, they just don't like this kind of music, but the couple loves this kind of music. How do you find a compromise in this kind of situation?
Yeah, that is a really good question. So first of all, if you are an event DJ or wedding DJ, you have to think of one really important point, and that is you have to reach 80% of the guests with the music you play. And Kirill, as you told before, well, these are common songs. And actually, you were asking, why do DJs play certain songs on and on every wedding?
Do they really have to? Is it true, or can you?
Well, yeah, on a wedding, you have to perform. You have to work with things which are working. And being honest, if you do like a wedding CD, as you told, or a wedding package, and you're gonna pack in the right 200 or 300 songs, you can almost do any wedding, to be honest. To come up to your point, Alexa, and I always try, if I have this list, you can, as I told you, I can read between the lines. And whenever I do a wedding a DJ gig, I always try to avoid playing things I played at the wedding before. But this is just my point, because I am getting bored of playing all the songs in the same follow situation on and on. For me, it's more interesting to work with the people to see how they react if I play certain kind of songs. So, and it is always interesting, of course, to play common music. But as you see the list, you will always find something, because of my experience, or of experience, if you be a DJ for more than 20 years, which could fit normally to the maybe let's stick to the example of Michael Jackson, for example. Michael Jackson is dead for about, like, I don't know, like 5 years, 6 years, or whatever, and we cannot talk about that he's like an artist for the current music right now, but there are also remixes. So this could be a way to pick out some remixes of old songs. Just because of the remixes, they have a new dress on, so they really fit from the beat and also from the feeling to the current music right now. So there's always a chance to work with remixes, and yeah.
I was really impressed with how much work and thoughts you are investing actually prior to the event. I think we have the same problem as photographers, because people who hire us sometimes think, okay, the guy or the gal works just 8 or 12 hours there and that's it, and they demand so much money. But I think from what I've heard and experienced, that it's easy to underestimate the work of a DJ, because one would think the guy just comes to the party and packs out his discs and that's it. So how much time, how much work in total do you do for a single wedding besides the wedding evening?
Well, that is a really good point. Lots of people are thinking this way. To make these things more easier, more transparent, I created, like several years ago, I created different packages, wedding packages. That is always a combination of my playtime and the kind of technique they need. And let's stick to one of our packages, which is the gold package, for example. It's called gold package. And the music time, as you know, Kirill, is from 7 o'clock in the evening till 3 o'clock in the morning. So these are 8 hours of playtime. This is the playtime people thinking a DJ is working. All right, let's put it all together. Let's start with the meeting in advance. So the meeting in advance with a couple, if you just put together the email thing, the personal meeting at the office, it is all about like 3 or 4 hours.
Really, so much
preparation? Yes, 3 hours. All our meetings in the office are taking about like 1.5 or 2 hours. But if you put on top the time you spend and this email communication in advance and after our meeting and right before the wedding, several phone calls and all that stuff, it is about 4 hours, I would guess. So, but this is just the preparation phase. If we come up to the day of the days, to that certain wedding time, and we are starting with a reception about like 7 o'clock, which is also our gold package. We are always trying to be 2 hours before the start at the location with my technician, and then we do the build up. So we need about like 2 hours before. So we are there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
You're always with an assistant, I'm sorry?
Yes, this is part of my philosophy. And because I have 5 companies right now, and I'm doing DJing as a just passion. It is all about passion. We don't have to talk about the money. This has to be okay anyhow. So we're just talking about the passion. And my passion is not building up or putting down the technical stuff. See, I'm honest. My passion Of course, the technique is mine. Of course, I pick them and I love it. But it is always nice to have someone around who is serving you and is building up with you together. And then you can really focus what is really important. And this is being a DJ and also like an event guy who's taking care of the couple. And also part of the philosophy is to have a technician, because something could always happen right in between the wedding. So there could be a breakdown of a technical device, like a speaker or whatever. And mostly DJs are not thinking about these critical phase. Because what you do as a DJ, if your system breaks down, like your computer, your mixer, one light is broken, whatever, they are stick to the location and cannot do nothing. So it's going to be a disaster. And for us, or for me, it's part of our service to have this technician aside. So as soon as a mistake occurs, I can easily call my technician and say like, well, just have some difficulties with my right speaker, for example. Could you just go to the agency and get another speaker and come here and change it? So this is part of our philosophy. And this is part of thinking about what a couple needs in a wedding. And they need security, actually, to have not a technical breakdown. So it is a disaster. I've been a guest on several events where the technique was breaking down, and that was the end of the event. So that was a disaster. So the first point is to have like a backup guy who's taking care if something, a mistake occurs. And the most important thing of having a technician aside is just imagine people are thinking about to longen up your playtime from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. As you guys know it from being a photographer, after 8 or 10 hours, things are getting very, very complicated. So 1 hour more is very, very hard work, actually, if you have like work for 10 or 12 hours, which is normal. And you guys, of course, you don't need a technician, but you have to put your things together and then you talk to the couple, and then you have to get out of the location and all that stuff. And I have to do this as well. But if you think of that, you're at least, it takes like 1.5 or 2 hours to build everything down again after the event, and then go back to the agency, unload everything, put all in the agency. So it takes you more than 3 hours after ending the event. And if you think of, you don't have the support, technical support. There's a couple coming up and say like, please, Lenny, could you just longen up your playtime for another hour? Well, you just think of these upcoming 3 hours, and then your passion is going down, because you're thinking, well, I'm not at 6 o'clock in bed, I'm at 7 o'clock in the bed. So this gives you really bad vibrations. And what you don't need as a DJ is feeling bad or having a bad mood. So with a technician, I always have a good mood, because I know I have someone aside which is making my life so easy. He's helping me out. And of course, I'm the owner of this DJ service as well. I'm helping my technician, of course. But my DJs, they don't have to actually, but they do. That's because they're nice guys. And so I can easily longen up like for 1 or 2 hours, and I don't feel any bad vibration. I can have another beer, I can have another champagne, whatever. I'm really feeling good all the time. So, and it doesn't matter if there's a longen up. I have my support, and I have help, and yeah, it's that's our philosophy. And this is actually one point which we are doing totally different from lots of other DJ services, actually.
I'm actually really curious, how do you actually stand out from the crowd? Because you're an artist, actually. You're not just a DJ, you're not just a marketer, but what I hear from you, you're an artist, because you invest so much time into the preparation. You think about the couple taste. I think you just don't play Helena Fischer all the time, I do hope. How do you market yourself differently? Like, how do you actually tell to your couples, I'm different, you know? Because like there are so many DJs, so many photographers, for sure you must be doing something really right in that case. So I'm really curious to know about you, maybe some marketing techniques.
Well, as I told you before, I'm running a marketing and advertise agency for several years. And all right, I have different ideas. I had different ideas to do marketing with the DJ thing. The first one was, and this I do with every company I own actually, is to doing my own thing. I'm not looking aside and not, you know, like checking out other competitors all the time. That's a waste of time for me. So I have to, all companies are run, and all things I do, especially DJing, is all about passion. It is passion. I am doing what I love. I could do it all day long, all night long as well. So I think this is the most important part of everything you are doing, to stick to your passion. And as soon as you have a passion for it, you're good of what you're doing, in what you're doing. And just because some people recognize that, so I have lots of recommendations. So it got bigger and bigger. And after I discovered I cannot handle this by myself, so I had to check out other DJs who are sharing my philosophy, which I actually, I'm developing it from year to year. And I'm going to tell you some points which are making us totally different from other DJ services. Because actually of our experiences of being also, of doing also event management for Porsche, for Audi, and for really, really big brands, which I create the ideas for events as well. And I'm always thinking of how could I make an event better for a couple, right? And I'm going to tell you later on. And well, I lost it. So
so the marketing, so the channel.
All right, okay.
It's
so,
just
and after I discovered that I could handle it anymore alone by myself, I found lots of nice DJs which I know for more than 10 years. And then I start not being a one-person show anymore. And then I start to open up the DJ service agency here in Hamburg. And with my ad agency, we were building a website. And actually, we are quite good in SEO. And within some month, we've been at the top of the SEO ranking of DJ Hamburg. But this was, I think, like 12 years ago. So there were actually no DJ service at all who was taking care of SEO. And as you know, as a photographer, really, there are so many people right now on the first page, which actually, in my opinion, because I'm a professional marketing guy, they don't have nothing to do on it's not the right position for lots of them at the first page of a ranking. It's just about SEO. It's not about quality. It's not about passion. So and I really tried to combine my services with my passion to a good package. With passion.
So let's sum it up. It's a passion. It's word of mouth. It's Google. Is that it? So actually, if I am a couple and searching, or a bridegroom searching for a DJ, so Google is a good place to start, or asking friends. What else?
Well, actually, as you tell, mouth-to-mouth recommendations is the most important thing, because if you have customers who have been on a show you played, makes things much more easier. I'm not really into these cold case marketing things. Of course, Google could help out, but actually asking a friend could be more advisory to find a good serviceman. And I think also this is why actually we are always telling the couples to meet us in person to find out if there's a certain kind of chemistry between you. But this is totally equal to you guys as a photographer.
Of course.
There has to be this specific binding. There has to be this specific thing between you and the couple. And and this is because I'm inviting them, all the couples, to our agency without having a contract with me. So it's free for them. I just invite them, and then after the end of the meeting, I don't know how you guys do it, but I leave them free. So I just end up the meeting without asking, like, do you want to book or not? I'm always ending it with, thank you for being here. Take all these things we were talking about with you, and maybe in the next 2 weeks, you're going to get me a message or feedback if I am the right one, and if you have a good feeling with that.
I think I would speak for both of us, for me and Alex. It's the same. Of course, for photographers, it's the same. But let me put it from another perspective, from the perspective of the couple. Things you have explained about your work, some of them sound obvious, and some of them are way beyond the normal and ordinary. But how can I know as a couple, as a customer? For example, if I don't have any friends whom I could ask, and I haven't yet experienced you, I'm just making an appointment with several DJs. How can I know that they would bring anything like you have described? Which questions do I have to ask, and so on?
Yeah, how do I know that you're the one? You know, how do I make this kind of decision? What kind of points maybe I should look at?
Well, that is a very interesting question, actually.
We are asking only interesting questions.
I will try to answer, actually. There are lots of points. It's all about trust. Let's be honest, it's all about trust, of course. If people haven't seen your pictures, if people haven't hear a show you just played, it is very difficult to find out if the guy is the right one. Which could help out, actually, is the kind of presentation about the website. So therefore, I specialized on the upper level of customers, the more expensive customers. They're not better, but it's more my way, actually. And so I created a website which is directly speaking to these kind of customers. So the first thing, what you should find out if the presentation of the agency or the single DJ fits to your belongings. So, and mostly, I think you can see if there's a DJ who is, well, very good, that means more expensive, or like medium class, so whatever. So you know what I mean? It's
sure.
Actually, it's the same with photographers. Yeah. So let's have the presentation at first, of course. That's the presentation. The second one is, how's the service? Is the guy like writing an email? Is the email nice? Is it well created? Call the guy. So you need to have a phone call at first. And after the first communication with email or on the phone, you should really meet in person. So this could really help out. And while there's this phase before the meeting, and this is very difficult as an advice, actually, sometimes DJs do have sets on Mixcloud or SoundCloud, whatever. This could be a good indication if the guy can do music. If it is a good wedding DJ, that's a totally different thing. So I try to avoid posting too much of my mixes, actually, because I don't want to present myself as an artist, as you said, Alex, actually. I'm even more in this individual thing. So, and if I present a mix, you know, it's kind of a prepared thing. So I cannot show that I really do really different styles. So this is very important. So actually, if you are, let's come back to the main question. If you meet the guy in person, what should you ask? Right. I think one important thing, some couples are discovering it sometimes too late. If you want to have a DJ which do co-moderations, for example, you should talk about him, about this topic. So is it a DJ who likes to use the mic and present himself? Actually, if there's a DJ who's working a lot with a microphone, actually, in my opinion, takes himself too serious. And I think the center of a wedding party isn't the DJ, it is always the couple. Therefore, but this is just my opinion and my philosophy, I'm not taking myself so serious. So I'm not gonna be on I don't have to have an own stage. I love to stand beside the stage. I'm there all the time and I'm doing music, but I'm not really important in person. What I do is important, but not in person. So I'm of course using the microphone to do the open dance and to say hello to the guest and whatever I can do, or maybe sometimes I support the guests in their speeches and like presentations or whatever. But I try to avoid to talk too much. So, and this is a very important point. Some people or some couples love it to have a co-moderator who's working a lot with his voice to motivate the people. And there are DJs which are just using music to do it. I'm more into music, actually. So, but you know, it's not. These are two different sides. It's not better or worse. So there's a different taste in every couple. So this is a very important question to ask, I think.
Okay, and then is there anything else? So I need to check the website, I need to check the presentation, I need to have a chemistry. And how actually do I know that the DJ, he's an artist, like you? Is there any way to find out?
Yes, concerning the meeting. So what I do at the meeting, there are two phases in the meeting. The first phase is to say hello to each other and all that stuff. And I am telling about my philosophy. So we developed different packages for the couple to get more time to spend together. So that it's way too far, because as I told you, these meetings last about 2 hours. But the first phase is about our philosophy, our different ideas which you bring into every party. And the second phase, or the second half of the meeting, is that we are going through the whole day, as you do it with your couple as well. And I think as a couple, you can easily discover if this guy fits your belongings and if this one is the right one. So it is all about, as I told before, about preparation. It is all about experience, actually. And if you do present your philosophy in a nice and really emotional way, with lots of passion again, and afterwards you're going this event through with a great structure, and you're helping the people out if they have, because couples, they have questions. If this couple is getting married for the first time, of course they want to have the wedding party of their life. It's the best day of their life, as you know it as well. And it is always important to help them out, because as you guys do, we're doing about like 40, 50 weddings in a year. So the experience you just collected in all these events is really right in a personal meeting to tell your experience to the couples and share it, for example. Share it, and all the time sharing it. And as we talked before about these individual things, you will always find in every couple examples you just experienced, and then you're going to tell them. It's not about like telling them what is wrong or what is right. It is just, my intention is more to give an idea of what is their idea is about and who it leads to, if it's a good decision or not. So, and I am always trying to get some examples, or giving them examples to find the right way for the couple themselves. So I'm always helping them out, giving examples of, some people are telling that we're also like wedding planners. I try to avoid that, but actually, being honestly, as a DJ, you have to take care of the whole process of the wedding. You have to know when there are speeches. Is there a special event the couple is planning? The open dance. There's the wedding cake. There's the Brautstraußwurf. What is that? The bouquet. And I'm trying to be at their side, and I'm doing a structured plan with them together. So at the second half, I'm going to go through all these appointments, or all the times of a wedding, and I'm telling the couples all the time to write down the schedule and write down everything they know, that what they want to what is happening at the wedding, at their wishes, and then they're gonna give it to the best man or whatever, and the other guys who are also into this planning, they are fulfilling the other schedules, and then they're gonna send me this plan. Mm-hmm. And so I have the major plan, what is happening actually, and which is very, very good, is that I always do a copy of the event manager of the location. So mostly, as you may have noticed, people who are in charge for the event, like the restaurant manager or the event manager of the location, they don't have a real plan what is the couple all about and what is the schedule all about. And I think as a good serviceman, you have to work together, Carol, and we did that several times. If you have like professional servicemen around you, a photographer, a good event manager, a good DJ, and a good filmer, whatever, it just takes seconds to find together and then build a little team in that event actually. And therefore, I am doing my very best, for example, to bring, for the event manager of the location, to bring the schedule for this guy. And I take my time with this guy together, or the lady, and we are going through the whole process right before the wedding, actually. And then we can really seriously do all this planning in the background without letting the couple know or the guests know. So, and this is just one part of our services, which is part of our personal meetings, actually. But I think these little hints or these little information about how is the guy structured, the DJ, how is the DJ structured, is very important to find out if this is a good companion for the best day in your life. So, and I think it is as I discovered, some people, some couples, they don't trust in having like a structured plan. But as you know, it's not about like, some people are thinking that structured plans means that there's no space for ideas or spontaneous things. It is. So what I really love is to always have this this red line going through the whole event. And if we have this red line, then you are really relaxed, because everybody who's into this wedding is informed what is happening when. And just because of that, people are more relaxed, even as a serviceman. And there are lots of space for spontaneous ideas and actions and all that stuff. So I think it's the combination of being an experienced DJ, of playing the right music to the right time, and having always an ear and an eye on the event.
Okay, so let's to share more experience. You've seen hundreds of weddings beyond a DJ, or from your point of view as a DJ, what else makes a good party, a good wedding party? Could you give a couple just some hints what to do to make it better, or perhaps what not to do? You've also perhaps experienced some common faults, some mistakes, which actually might perhaps kill every party, or which make your work even harder.
Well, yeah, there are some things which are very important, which nobody think of a DJ could tell them, actually. The first thing for a successful wedding is to have a happy couple. A very curious and happy couple, which is surrounded by professional servicemen, as a professional photographer, professional DJ, professional location. And I think it all starts at the reception. If you enter the location and you look into the eyes of a passionate, curious couple, which is very excited and it's burning for, and which is, you know, part of the party and being a guest as well. If we as professional servicemen are able to feel, to make the couple feel as a guest, we did a good job, actually. And as soon as they are happy, they are showing it to their guests. So as soon as the guests are entering the location and look in these happy faces, I think this is the first start. Another part, which is the most common mistake in my eye, is to overdo the wedding with too many activities. And because people are thinking of the more they book, the more ideas and the more action they bring to the guests, the more nicer it gets. But it's wrong. Because people are stressed out during the week, actually. And people are searching for some togetherness, some place to get calm, to get together, to spend time together with friends, which, you know, weddings is a perfect scene to meet old friends again. And as you recognized that before, it's a single event where you're not coming together with these guys within the next 10 years. And therefore, I think couples should focus on good service partners, of course, and they should focus on the needs of their guests. And the needs of the guest is to spend time together. And that's it. That's a good photographer is fine. He's keeping the pictures. A good DJ, of course, is doing the party later on. But if there is no communication at the beginning, and we all have seen that, actually, there could be the greatest DJ, the best photographer, whatever. If there's no communication between the guests at the start, or you have a bride which is very nervous and cannot give up planning. This is another point, actually. Brides who are not, or brides or couples in general, who cannot give up to the responsibility of the event, to their professionals, actually. This is the most dangerous part, even to destroy their own wedding, actually, to not giving up the planning while the party.
Sorry, do you mean like wedding planners, the professionals?
No, actually, I'm not talking about wedding planners. I'm talking about the couple themselves. So lots of couples there are so into this idea of having the best time of their lives, but sometimes they're not doing them. They're not doing it for themselves. They're just doing it for the guests. Well, you know, different needs, different ideas. It's not wrong or right. So I cannot tell. But you were asking me what is one big mistake which could couple do, and that is to not giving up the planning while the party is starting. So my advice, actually, for all the couples out there, we're doing it this way. Maybe let's say the wedding is on a Saturday. We were talking about these two lists, about these 10 songs, which they love. And we were talking about the structured schedule. So we have 3 of them, which is my master plan for the party. And just because I have some companies and we have up to 5 to 10 events on a weekend, I am trying to always stick to this individual couple. I always telling them, therefore, please send over these 2 lists and also the list of the music and also the schedule on Wednesday before your wedding. That means 3 or 4 days before the wedding party, therefore. And I'm always telling them, when you are guys sending me this, it should be automatically that way that after this Wednesday, you should take off to prepare yourself for the wedding. And while you are sending out this information to the photographer, to the event location, maybe to the wedding planner, maybe to the DJ, whatever, with this sending out, that means stop for you with planning. Hand over all of this planning, all the management of the event to the professional and start being a guest. This is my advice. And this is always right, actually.
A great one.
I fully agree with that.
Yes.
Just to relax, not to have stress, because I guess we all seen that at the weddings, that the couple,
yes.
They don't enjoy the wedding. You know,
yeah.
They just relax at the first dance. When they drink a little bit, then they relax. But I think it's a shame. Like, you marry hopefully only once, and then you
That's
just,
it.
Yeah, this day goes.
And which is, it took me years to discover that, actually, to see as soon as as I enter the location and see the couple, I could immediately see if the bride, and mostly it is the bride, actually, if she's relaxed or not. And as soon as I discover that she's not relaxed, I always go up to her and say, like, well, you have chosen the right ones. That's a nice photographer. You have chosen the best location you could ever get because this fits your belongings perfectly. You got a nice DJ, you got a nice film or whatever. You're surrounded by professionals. So please do me, your company and your husband a big favor, and start being a guest and let loose. Just let loose and then start being a guest. Because if she doesn't, it is really obvious, because this is what happens. If there's a bride which is very nervous just because the opening dance is not exactly at 10:30, but it's at 11. That is your part, because you always booked until the start of the dance started. So even for the photographers, it is a strange thing. But as we know it, it is always later than in the schedule. That's the way it is. So
sure.
We know about that.
Yeah.
But sometimes couples are really into the schedule, exactly. And then, because before I finish that one, another point is that every wedding has his own speed. Every wedding party has its own speed. Sometimes it's slower, but mostly it is, it's faster. Sometimes it's faster, but mostly it takes more time. So maybe, as I told you, the open dance is not starting at 10:30. Maybe it could be 11:30. But there is always a reason for it. And as I told before, it's all about communication between the guests, with the couple, with the parents, and all the family. And there is always a reason that it takes longer, and that's always a good reason.
Lenny, thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your experience, and most of all, for sharing your contagious passion. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was really enjoyable. Thank you for being so open and just talking also about the business part and giving some advice for the brides. It was really interesting to meet you and to talk to you. Thank you very much.
It was my pleasure.